Hi, this is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews, and I am your literary ambassador. And today on my channel, I have the pleasure of having Authoress G. Fife. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, first question. Who is Authoress G. Fife?
Authoress G. Fife is a romance author. I pen stories of love in color. When I was coming up, I used to read Harlequin romance. My mom was a Harlequin romance reader, and I would sneak off and read them because I wasn't supposed to. And I fell in love with those stories. And in falling in love with those stories at that time, they didn't have characters that looked like me. And so I would always envision and jot down little stories of those types of romance, but those characters had color. And so when I did make the decision to write, that is what I wanted to do. I wanted to write characters like mine, like me rather, and with love stories that weren't like urban, I guess I would say, which I don't, I love urban stories as well, but I just wanted regular people with regular lives and jobs that fell in love with happily ever afters with skin color like mine. So as an author, that's who I
am. Okay. And so your genre is romance?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. For the readers that don't know who you are, tell them about some of your books.
Okay, so I have 3 under my belt, so I am that new. I came out, my first book came out in April of last year, and the book, well, actually I have a copy, I'll show. This was my very first book, and it's called No Ordinary Love. This is a part of a series. I would say more of a spin-off type of a deal, because it's about 3 sisters and each of their journeys of finding love. So each of them can be read independently as a standalone, but they are part of a series. So this was my first one. And when I was shopping around looking for publishing, I was new to the industry. I sent off this manuscript to a couple of different publishing companies, and one of them wrote me back. And when she wrote me back, she said this would be a great series. So it didn't start out that way, but that's the way that it ended up. And she was like, I would love to know more about these sisters. So I was like, oh, okay. That's actually a great idea. And that's how the series started, because that one was supposed to be just one. So the second part of the series is called Are You That Somebody? And this one is about the middle king sister. I'm sorry, I didn't even introduce the character in this one. Let's go back. So the first one in No Ordinary Love, this is about Melina King, and she is the youngest of the King sisters. And this is her story of her finding love after meeting a guy just for one night. So they're trying to make a one-night stand kind of turn into a relationship. As you could probably imagine, you don't get to learn a lot about a person in one night. So that's what that story is kind of about, them trying to make a relationship out of that. So the second book, again, is Are You That Somebody? And this is about Shayna King. She's the middle King sister. This one was the most difficult for me to write because there's a lot of me in this story. There's a lot of hurt in the story. There's a lot of sadness in the story. It took me the longest to write, and it was because of that. I really had to open up and kind of show myself. I don't think it's the most entertaining of the 3, but it's the most raw of the 3, if that makes sense. So her story is about trying to find love after loss, which is something that I've actually experienced. So I won't tell you all the details of what belongs to me, but that's definitely what this story is about. So I really like this story. Again, it was hard to write, but probably one of my favorites. And then my third book, I don't have the hard copy because it just released on Sunday, and it is about the oldest King sister. Her name is Carmen King, and she's introduced early in the series, and she is married. And what that story is about, I think you and I spoke about this once before, is about being in a marriage and finding yourself attracted to someone else.
Yes.
And how you're supposed to, how would you want your spouse to handle it, or how should you handle it? So I do challenge people on this one. I can't wait to have an actual book discussion about it, because I ask the question all the time: do you think marriage should prevent you from being attracted to someone? So it opens up a great debate on if that's true and what people think about that. And then the question: what if you do find yourself attracted to someone and you're married? What does that mean for your marriage? I mean, does that mean that you don't love them? Is that considered cheating? It's just so many things that the book brings on a whole lot of discussion, because I'm married, going almost 15 years. And so me and my husband sat down and we had a conversation before I wrote that third one, and we kind of talked about it. What if this? I would have him to death about this, because I really wanted to know from a man's perspective, with us being married, like, what is your thought process on, if this happened to us? And so we got some really good conversation out of it, and I think that will show through in the book. And of course, you have to watch to see what happens in the end. But I really enjoyed writing that one. I can't wait to get some feedback. And again, that one just released on Sunday.
Okay. When did you first realize you wanted to be an author?
When I first realized I wanted to be an author was in 2015. Again, I've always been a writer. Since high school, I'm going to go back as far as high school. Like I said, I would read these Harlequin romances, and I would write down those stories and make them my own and make them look like me and have jobs like, the people that I knew. But it wasn't until 2015 when I said I actually want my name on a book. I lost both of my parents in 2015, 5 months apart, and both of them from cancer. And it was very, very difficult for me, and writing became therapy. But it also, when you're surrounded by so much death, it makes you think about your life. And I said, what would I want to leave for my son? I want my son to be able to have something, to see something with my name on it, and be able to hold it and say, my mom did that. So I felt I wanted to leave a legacy behind for my son. And so that's why I started shopping around for publishers, because I was like, this is something that you already do. You love it. You have a passion for it. You've never shown the world. I have plenty of stories. You've never shown the world. This is something that you can put out there with your name on it, and your son would always be able to have. And that's why I became an author.
Okay. Where do you get your ideas for the characters in your book?
I am a people watcher. I love to go to restaurants, movies, all types of things, and watch how people interact with each other. And I get a lot of stories that way. And then it's just in my imagination, I want to see, I like to write outside of how I live. Like, if there were no consequences, that's the way I want to write. Like, if you could just go live any type of life, what would you do? And so that's kind of the lines that I take. But I really love people watching. I get a lot of stories from just sitting back watching other people interact, especially couples.
How do you get your books published? How does that work?
Well, I took and shopped around. I found publishers actually online, and I just kind of shopped my manuscript around and see, kind of got feedback. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was a better writer than they actually told me that I was, but it was a great learning experience to get that feedback and say, work on this, do this. I think it really helped me out author. But yeah, that's all I did. I just shopped it around to different publishing companies. There's quite a few out there that fit my genre, which I really feel like I have a really fine line between the Christian, because I have a little bit of spice, but not too much. So it's really a difficult lane to find publishing for, because I'm not the type that uses a lot of sex and profanity in my books, but I'll have a little bit. So I just shopped around for different publishers.
What inspires you to write?
Again, I would have to say my son. My son is my reason for every single thing that I do. I don't make a decision without first thinking about how it affects him. And like I said, I wanted him to see my name on something. I want him to always be proud of me. I want him to know that I persevered through all those struggles of loss and heartache, that I could make it through. So he's my inspiration for just breathing.
What is the hardest thing about writing?
The hardest thing is coming up with new, innovative ideas. A lot of people, we have so many different authors out there, so you will get the same storyline over and over again, which I don't mind, because I love reading certain types of storylines, but different types of ways. So that's what I like. But I think coming up with just things that you haven't seen before, things you haven't read before, I think that's probably the hardest thing about writing.
Okay. How many drafts do your books generally go through for publication?
I would say about a good 5 to 6. I am a rewriter. I do a lot of that. And of course, with publishing and editing, it's a lot of back and forth. But before I even get it to them, I'm writing and rewriting and changing. And it's about 5 or 6 drafts. Easy.
What does your family think of your writing?
I think they all knew that this was something that I was going to do. I have my hands in all types of things. So when I said that, I'm gonna shop for publishing, everybody was pretty much like, yeah, I think that fits you. So they're pretty excited about it, and they thought it was a good fit for my lifestyle. And of course, the reason behind it, because like I told you, after suffering so much loss, I found something that made me happy again. So it's like, yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. What do you think makes a good story?
For me, it's all about the happily ever after. I am not a fan of to be continued. I like a story that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I love the endings to be happily ever after or happily for now. So for me, in the types of books that I read, that is what it has to have. That's what I'm looking for when I pick up a book.
As a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I actually went to school to be a teacher, but I had to leave college for personal reasons. But that's what I was going for, early childhood education.
Okay. What has been your greatest accomplishment thus far?
My child, as you can see, my child is my reason for everything. He was diagnosed at an early age with autism, and that has just become my passion. Aside from writing, it's probably the biggest passion I have in my life right now. It's just paving the way for him. There's so many closed doors right now, and I am trying to just bust them all open before he gets to that point. I don't want to wait until he goes to high school to figure out if you all have things in place for him. I'm going to bust the door down before he gets there. So when he gets there, he just goes right in. Job placement. There's nothing like that here in Kentucky, where I'm from. When my child becomes the age of 18 or 19 and gets out of school, what's next? We don't have a what's next. So again, that's something that I'm just going to bust down the door and make sure that it's already in place by the time he gets there. He's 12 now, so I'm already working on those types of things.
Oh. And we don't have that here either.
We need it. I mean, because and this is a thing, and people hate when I say it. But right now they consider him, oh, he's cute, he has autism, you know, and everybody babies him, and you know they take care of him like that. The people in my circle and people out in my community, when they hear autism, they're like, oh, cute little kid with autism. But what about when he's a grown man and he's not so cute anymore to these people, and he has all these perks? Then what are people going to say about? I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of him coming up against, you know, police officers and coming in contact with women who don't know what autism is. Like I don't want that for him when he's that age. So I have to do it now.
Mm-hmm. I have a friend. Her son is autism mute, and he's high school now. And he's bigger than her, stronger than her. And she has, I mean, I spent most of my time with him when he was younger and up until like middle school. And I see the struggle that she has with him now, being that he's in high school and about to come out. And then I work in education, and I see it every day. As a matter of fact, I work in special ed in a high school, and I've been doing it 20 plus years. And we have an autism class, and they're trying to close it. So it don't need to be one there. And I'm just like, are y'all serious?
That's horrible.
It is. And it just I'm like, we do need that class here. That class needs to stay open because we have kids that fall in that category. He can't come over to an EHRLD class. He can't go over there and trainable in TDM or ED. He needs this particular class,
right?
With particular curriculum. It's just like they just throwing them here and there. I'm like, we're trying right now as of today to keep that class open.
Right, it's important.
And I was like, do the parents know that this class is about to close here? And they were like, you ain't got nothing to do with it. You stay on your side, let them do theirs. I was like, oh, okay. But that just, as a parent, I would want to know that class is about to close.
Absolutely.
I would want to know, don't throw my child over here in an EH class, which is emotionally handicapped, when I know he's autistic and it's not going to be a match for him.
Right.
I'm gonna end this because I'm getting mad. Okay, let's move on. Any event or plans for the rest of this year do you have?
Well, I have one. Well, I have two events. I just have a lipstick wars. It is an event here that they do poetry. And so they reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in vending there. And so it's at the Kentucky Center of Arts here in Kentucky. And so I'm going to be one of the vendors there. That's the one I'm most excited about. It's something I've never done before, but they're going to have all type of poets, women of color poets come out. And yeah, I'm super excited about that.
That sounds interesting.
I think they're on Instagram. So if you have an Instagram account, look them up.
I ain't on no Instagram, but
okay.
Like I tell the kids, ain't on no. Well, I think my baby put me on there in the Snapchat. I call it Snapchat. I'll do all that stuff. Just give me Facebook.
Give me your Facebook, okay.
And I might do a little Twitter, but I don't even know how to really do that. My son got me on all these accounts, but I don't know how to work them things. But can you tell the readers how to get in touch with you, and how to get your books.
Yes, I am available on, the books are available on Amazon. I
Okay.
also have a website, which is authoressg5.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can purchase the books from my website as well. That is hard copy and the ebooks.
Mm-hmm.
You can also follow me on Facebook at authoressg5.com. No, authoressg5, I'm sorry. I have a reading group called Red Carpet Romance, also on Facebook. Where else am I? I'm on Instagram, which is Queen G _01. See, we have that in common. So yeah, I think that's, and also I have the Amazon page, which is also under Authoress
Mm-hmm.
G5. So I'm on almost all of the platforms.
Okay. Do you have anything further you would like to add before we go?
What else do I have to add? Just to thank you. I just thank you for what you do, what you're doing for us new authors. It's not a lot of platforms out there for us, so we appreciate you coming out and giving us one. So just thank you for that.
You're welcome. Now you want to play my game. It's called Favorites.
Sure.
Okay. Favorite color.
Favorite color is green.
Favorite restaurant.
Oh my goodness. Favorite restaurant. My favorite food is seafood, so I'm gonna just say red lobster because that's
Girl, girl.
seafood. I love me some seafood.
Me too. I've been saying, oh, I want some. Should I get seafood? Oof, no. I had it last weekend. Oh, perfume.
Perfume. I don't have a favorite perfume. I'm usually into like body spray. So anything coconut or shea butter, those types of fragrances. It could be oils, it could be lotions. It's not really a perfume.
Okay. Scripture.
Oh my god, you're gonna make me seem like a heathen. I would say of course I would say John 3:16, which is, everybody, most people would know that.
Your favorite snack while you writing.
Favorite snack would be apples and peanut butter.
What type of apple? Is
Honey
it
Crisp.
delicious?
Honey Crisp apples are my favorite.
Oh, okay. And your favorite book and your favorite book and why?
Oh, of mine,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say I said that the second one was my favorite, but I'm gonna say the first one, and because it is the first one, it's the one I'm most proud of because this was the first thing that ever had my name on it, first thing that was ever published by me, and I actually enjoyed the story. It's not a life that I would live, but I really enjoyed that the characters are a little sassy and fun. So definitely probably my favorite, and this is my baby. This is the one that got me out here.
All right. And last favorite, your favorite character in the book, your one of your books and why?
Again, that would be from the first. Her name is Melina King. She is successful. She is sassy. She is brown, and she's out here living her best life. Um, yeah, a lot of the things that I wish that I could be as far as the sass, but yeah, she would definitely be my favorite.
Okay, you want to go over your three books one more time before we close and let me.
Absolutely. So the series is called the King Sister series. We start out with book one, which is called No Ordinary Love. About it's, and I believe it says Gavin and Melina's love story.
Mhm.
So yeah, my favorite. Then we have book two in the series, which is about Shayna King, and this is Greg and Shayna's love story. And this story is about trying to find love after loss. So that's book two. And book three of the series is Before I Let Go, and it is Corman and Troy's story, and it is about being the challenges of being married and finding yourself attracted to someone outside of your marriage. So that was a juicy one.
I would like to thank you, Authoress G. Fife, for coming in today and blessing us on my channel. This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews. Happy reading. Talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.